Okay, so here we're going to go through the logic notes. If you weren't in class or you wanted to watch the lesson again to get a more understanding, then this is what we're going to do. So we'll go through these pretty quickly just to cover the main ideas. So the first thing we need to know is what a conditional statement is, and it's a compound statement formed by combining two sentences or facts using the words if and then. So conditional statement or conditional, we combine two statements or facts using those words if and then. So it's pretty simple. An example here, we have a fact, you participate in class, and another fact that you learn. So I'm going to combine those two by using the words if and then. So if you participate in class, then you learn. That's all I had to do. Now, that was pretty easy. Alright, sometimes it won't be so easy. However, it should be fairly simple for it to kind of flow onto paper if you were to write a conditional statement. I'm going to give you an example. All dogs go to heaven. That's a movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really cute. So, all dogs go to heaven. So I'm going to try to write a conditional statement. So I got to combine two facts or statements with if and then. Now it's not so easy. They don't give you two facts. They give you a statement. Alright. But what I can do, I see there's two parts. There's dogs and heaven. So let me combine those two. If an animal is a dog. So I did add an extra word in there, animal, just to describe, because I know a dog's an animal. Then it goes to heaven. So now I have a conditional statement. Now you could write if it's a dog, then it goes to heaven. Now you didn't add the word animal, but we still understand what you're saying, okay? So that's an example of not always being so simple when you have to write the conditional. The next thing was the hypothesis and conclusion, which you probably already know. You've learned this in science class. The hypothesis comes first. It comes right after the word if, and then the conclusion comes second, right after the word then. Alright, so hypothesis comes first, the conclusion comes second. So down here, we're going to identify the hypothesis and conclusion. So let me use a different color. So my hypothesis will come right after the word then, so the team scores. The conclusion comes second, comes right after the word then. So they win. So I'm going to write that down. That's it. So we just got to know what the hypothesis is and what the conclusion is. Alright? Because the next thing, we're going to learn the conditional relatives, which change up the hypothesis and conclusion. Alright? So the first relative, the conditional relative, is the converse. And that will change the order of the hypothesis and conclusion. Okay? So we're gonna try one down here, write the converse of the statement. So we're gonna figure out our hypothesis and conclusion. So you take geometry is my hypothesis. My conclusion is you are cool. So let me get a different color. It's yellow. So all I got to do to write the converse is to switch the order. Alright, so I'm going to say if you are cool, try to get in there. If you are cool, then I'm going to write you take geometry. Alright, and that's it. You just simply switch the order of the hypothesis and your conclusion. The next one we learned, well, before we learned it, we actually talked about this word, which is negation or negate. And that simply means the opposite of a statement. So basically you either add a word, add a not in there. So for number 1, it says it is sunny today. So to negate this sentence, I would say it is not sunny today. I wouldn't change any of the words. I wouldn't say it's rainy today. That's not what negate means. You would do the opposite of a statement. So typically you're adding a not in there, or the opposite of what was said. So that would make sense. The opposite of is not. All right. For the next one, number 2, it's already a not, so the game is not canceled. To negate this, I would just say the game is canceled. So I'm just going to remove the not in that one. So it's negated. It's the opposite. All right. The last one is an equation. So the only thing you want to worry about when you are negating an equation is the equal sign. That's it. You don't want to change the numbers around or do anything crazy there. All you got to do is simply negate the equals. All right, I'm going to show you what that symbol looks like. So X, now the symbol, I got to go up here and get it. It's going to be the not equal symbol, which is right there. The equal sign with a slash through it. And there I have it. That would be the negation of an equation. You just change your equal sign. Alright. So now we can learn the last 2 relatives, your inverse, which will negate the hypothesis and conclusion. So we're going to negate my sentence here. If you do not take geometry, then you are not cool. That's all I had to do, was I had to negate it. So in this case, since the statement didn't have any nots in there, I simply had to add a not there and make the inverse. Then the third one is a contrapositive, and that would be both. Alright, so for contrapositive, you have to change your order and negate. Okay? So, since I'm changing my order, I'm going to write my conclusion first. So, if you are cool, but I have to negate it. So, if you are not cool. Then I'm going to write my hypothesis second. Then you, but I'm not going to say take geometry. Then you do not take geometry. Alright, so that is what the contrapositive does. It switches order and negates. Alright, so that's the third one. Converse, inverse, contrapositive. So we must memorize those relatives. Alright, so we're going to practice writing converse, inverse, contrapositive of the statement. If you go to Fleming, then you are a kernel. So my converse changes order. So I'm going to say if you are a kernel, alright, then you go to Fleming. Alright, that's it. Just change the order. The inverse negates, so I'm going to have to say the opposite. So if you do not go to Fleming, so I had to add a not in there, then you are not a kernel. So I had to add 2 nots because it was, it didn't have any in there. So there is the inverse. The last one's the contrapositive, which will have to change the order and negate it. So I'm going to have to start with if you are a kernel, but add the not in there to negate it. then I would say you go to Fleming, but I would have to negate it. Then you do not go to Fleming. Alright, and that's it. Converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Then another example would be an equation. So we're going to switch the order first. That's what my converse does. So I'm going to say if x equals 2, alright, then x plus 3 equals 5. And that's it. All I had to do was switch the order. I didn't have to change around the numbers or anything. That's it. The inverse negates. Doesn't change order, it just negates. So I'm going to start with if. Now, if. So I got to negate x plus 3 equals 5. So I would say x plus 3 does not equal 5. Then I got to say x equals 2, but I'm going to negate it. X does not equal 2. And last but not least, my contrapositive does both of those. It switches the order and negates. So I'm going to switch the order with, so I'm going to put x equals 2 first. But I got to negate it. So if x does not equal 2, then I got to put x plus 3 equals 5, but negate it. X plus 3 does not equal 5. And that is it. So, let's finish up with the symbols. So I got 3 minutes. Let's see if I can do this. The symbol for if-then, I'm going to use the pencil here, so it's going to be a little sloppy, but the symbol for if-then is an arrow. The symbol for and looks like a capital A. The symbol for or looks like a capital letter V. The symbol for not is 3 dots. Oh, not 3 dots. Sorry, it's a squiggle. It's getting late. Alright, and the symbol for therefore is 3 dots. Then, if and only if is a double arrow. Alright, so write this down as well. I'm going to use my type tool. It's a if and only if is called the biconditional. Alright, so you see the word conditional, that's the if and then statement we learned. But by, alright, by, like a bicycle, bicycles have 2 wheels, so by means 2. So biconditional has 2 ifs, alright, if and only if. So you may see that again. So those are the symbols. Now, for some symbolic statements, we're going to find the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Okay? So, it's still the same. Converse will switch the order. So, you see the letter P, arrow, Q. Now, it actually translates, I'm just going to write this what it translates to. If P, then Q. So that's how you would actually say this statement right here. I'm going to put that up there. That's important. You can write that down. So to write the converse, we're going to switch the order. So that means my Q comes first. I'm actually going to, let's see, duplicate that and just rearrange. So I'm going to put Q, and then P. So I just had to switch the letters. Alright, so inverse, let me duplicate this thing again. Now I'm going to have to negate those symbols, those letters. So the not symbol is that squiggle. So I'm going to put a squiggle in front. Oh, none of that. There we go. So all I got to do is add the squiggle in front. So now it says if not P. I'm just going to write this down. It might help you. So if not P, then not Q. That's how you would translate that. There we go. My time's going to run out at 15 minutes, so we'll have to do a second video for you to finish up the notes. So I'm going to finish the notes in the next video.